This is Steven Anderson. He's an NIFB preacher. So he kind of founded a new denomination, basically. It's New Independent Fundamental Baptist Church. And he was just exposed for mistreating his kids, to put it politely. That's a complete understatement, needless to say. So it sparked something of an internal struggle in the church where people are leaving the church. Like, not just leaving, but like pastors are leaving the churches. They're splitting off from the NIFB and stuff. It's fascinating to watch. But some of them are not. Some of them are defending what he's done. This is Jonathan Shelley on the right, and this is Aaron Thompson, I think, in the middle. Let's listen to this secretly recorded footage from his church or whatever. There is no video, really. It's just a lot of this. So I'm just going to switch over so that you don't, there's no point in watching it anyway. I'm going to make the game big so you guys can watch me play.
A real relationship, and that we know. Because otherwise, it's like the idea of, if you really want to help the poor, good luck giving money to every poor person. You should think about it like, I want to help the poor people that are in my life, in my area, in my situation.
Actually, what you should be thinking is, I want to increase taxes so that the government can assist in efforts to decrease poverty. You can't help every poor person, but the federal government can take in additional taxes and help those people. But he doesn't want to do that, of course.
That makes sense. And I think the same comes to our friendships, that we should be careful and not think I have to personally correct every Christian out there. I've been myself the correction police, and I want to make sure and right every single wrong. Because
the correction police. Bro, you are in that location. The people you're talking about are in your local community. I don't want to try to fix every problem. You're not trying to fix every problem. You're trying to fix the problem that is Steven Anderson. Oh my God.
Many times it devolves into fighting and hatred and all kinds of attack that's unnecessary. And we can all disagree on certain issues and still be friends. Some issues we can't disagree on.
Like spousal discipline. Oh my God. I can't believe that they even use that word.
And still be friends. If you disagree with me on the gospel, we're not friends. If you disagree with me on which Bible, then go to a different church. I can still be friendly towards you, and I can still try to help you understand why you're wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be mad at people for having a different opinion on this situation. And I think what some people don't understand is, some people in our church have known who Pastor Anderson is, our friend, for years. He's helped.
This isn't a matter of opinion. It's a matter of physical abuse. He is physically hitting his family.
Helped them personally. They maybe even got saved as a result of his ministry. Maybe they've grown a lot spiritually. And for them to think negative things about him or to want to go against him feels so wrong. And there's other people that are maybe newer to our church or don't even have much of they don't really even know who he is that much. And for them, things just seem so clear and so obvious. And they feel like they are confused why people would have a different opinion. We have to understand we're all...
This isn't an opinion issue. Abuse is not only morally wrong, but also illegal. You can't do that shit to people. There's no gray area. It's wrong.
Coming at this from different perspectives, different personal experiences, different ideas, and just because someone has a different opinion does not mean that they're being insincere or a bad person. We want to make sure that we're careful to give grace unto everyone and not attack and bite and devour each other, because we have an opportunity as Steadfast Baptist Church to set a very powerful example of saying we will love each other, period. We will be gracious to one another, period. And even other Christians outside of our sphere, we're going to give grace to them, period. And
again, this is how Jehovah's Witnesses concluded that they should cover up child abuse.
Whether you like this or not, many churches, pastors, and people all around the world are looking even how we will respond to this situation. And whether you like that fact or not, it's a reality. And when you are biting and devouring other people, you are green-lighting many other people to do so. And you're not representing your church or Christ very well.
Bro, you don't have to attack Steven Anderson directly to just back off, back away from what he's up to, and stop supporting him directly or indirectly. You can keep your mouth shut if you want, but you personally should not be supporting what he's doing at all.
We should not allow other people's drama to cause us to sin against our fellow Christians. Okay? And I am not mad at anybody in this room for having different opinions right now. I'm not. I'm sincerely not, and I'm wanting to extend as much grace as I can to everyone. I want to also go to another Bible verse. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 12. I'm going to give
Wait, was any of this based on another Bible verse? I didn't catch that.
you just my personal opinion as to what's happened in this situation. This is complete speculation. This is completely just my personal opinion. But I want people to be able to have some idea of what may be going on, because I think most of us are just confused. Most of us are just genuinely confused, and we don't see how all the facts could even make sense. Myself included.
What? He hit his kids, like, really bad, like, beat them terribly. What facts here don't make sense?
But
Jessup Proxy, he knows what he's saying is BS. That's why he doesn't stream it. Yeah, I agree.
I have thought about this a lot, and I have a lot of information, so I just want to give you some kind of opinion. I believe that, based on the facts that I know, obviously at some point during the young teenage years of the Anderson children's lives, the punishment became very strict.
Strict, huh? So beating the shit out of your kids is just being very strict, is all? Strict discipline pertains to the things that could lead to discipline, not the discipline methods themselves. So strict upbringing means you can't use the internet, you can't have friends, you can't go on school trips or whatever. That's very different from abusive childhood.
Depending on, you can label it however you want. It became very strict. That did not cause the children to change their behavior and cause them to start acting more appropriately. As a result of the strict punishment, it created a bitterness and a hatred in the heart of these children towards their father and towards their mother.
Okay. Well, I mean, the mom was doing it too, apparently. Does he think that the quote-unquote strictness was justified then? Is that what he's saying?
After it was obvious that the punishments were not working, Pastor Anderson completely backed off.
Bullshit. Are you just, like, making this up right now? Is this just, like, an assumption? Is this an opinion, another opinion that he has? How does he have any place to say this?
And just allow them to have complete freedom.
What?
Including making a lot of decisions that are kind of questionable as far as just the contrast of strict upbringing. Allowing them to just go out.
Dude, are you kidding me?
And be a part of the world and hang out with all kinds of different people. And I think based on the combination of the fact that they had a little bit of bitterness in their hearts, and then they were allowed to just have a lot of worldly influences and make a lot of very sinful decisions.
This is disgusting, dude. This is straight up disgusting. He is justifying physical abuse right now. That's what he's doing. What is wrong with somebody that would do this? I never thought that I would sit here and listen to somebody. Well, I can't say that's true. It doesn't surprise me at all to listen to a religious person justifying physically attacking somebody else. For some reason, this is the kind of thing I expect.
That is why we're in the situation that we're in. I believe all four of his children are saved. I believe Pastor Anderson is saved. I believe his wife is saved. That's never going to change, okay? I believe...
Right, because you can do anything you want as long as you say, I love Jesus. From then on, doesn't matter. It's a free pass to say or do anything.
That also, Pastor Anderson and his wife are very sincere that they believe they have not done anything wrong from a big picture.
He's so full of shit.
Based on the conversations that I've had, I believe that he has a blind spot in this issue, in this area of his family, and that has caused him to not understand why there's a problem. From his perspective, he disciplined them, and he's giving them clothes and food, and from his perspective, on that checklist, he believes he hasn't done anything wrong from the big picture. But I believe there's a blind spot here, and he's not fully understanding.
So Steven Anderson did do something wrong then. Like, he keeps going back and forth, back and forth. Did he do something wrong or not? And by the way, there is no center ground here.
What's happening in that situation.
Don't you love it how the kids come out and tell the world they're being abused and they are being called, like, they're being accused of being guilty of shit? Where did that come into the equation?
Kids are simply lashing out as a result. Now, many people have said, well, I think that his son John is Absalom. And, okay, if you want to give us that...
He's what?
Are simply lashing out as a result. Now, many people have said, well, I think that his son John is Absalom.
Did he just swear from the pulpit?
As a result. Now, many people have said, well, I think that his son John...
All right, I'm going to keep this in the bottom right corner so that we can see the captions and maybe read what he's saying because it's kind of fuzzy or whatever. Try again here.
John is Absalom.
Oh, his son is absent? Sound like he said asshole.
Many people have said, well, I think that his son John is Absalom.
Maybe it is absent.
And, okay, if you want to give us that analogy, then we have to be honest about that situation. And I want to read a little bit of Bible about that situation. The Bible says in 2 Samuel chapter 12, look at verse 9. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. I could see some parallels to the story of David and Absalom. I do not think it's a perfect...
Oh, Absalom. Absalom is what he's saying. Oh my God, I could not understand it for the life of me. He's saying Absalom, I think. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Now, who was Absalom again? I forget. Absalom, right. Third son of David, king of Israel, with Maacah, daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. Who was Absalom? What did Absalom do? What was he known for? Here we go. He betrayed his father, King David. Absalom would use his position as David's son and the grandson of the king of Geshur to his advantage to protect himself. Absalom is best known for his betrayal of his father, King David. Why is John Absalom, but not like Isaac or anybody else? I don't understand. Why are they calling him Absalom?
Explanation of what's going on. But I want to be fair. If you believe this is an analogy, then you have to understand, even if Absalom, which, of course, all the actions of Absalom were 100% wrong, it was still a punishment for David doing something wrong.
Okay, interesting. So, once again, he's leaning into this, they're both guilty bit. This is absurd, bro. Really? Come on. This is just sad. I don't know what he thinks that John did wrong, but I've seen no evidence of John doing anything wrong.
And even if you want to say, I think the kids are lying, slandering, making up false accusations against their parents, which I think some of that's for sure true, it does not change the fact that all four of them are against their father.
Okay, you mean they're revealing what kind of a person he is? Yeah. That's like kind of the point, I suppose, of what, I guess, like accusing him of something? That's the point, yes.
And to me, that seems like there's an issue then, and there's a blind spot.
What, so you're not allowed to call somebody out for doing something wrong if it's your parent? Who the is supposed to call it out then? Who's supposed to do anything about it in that case? I don't understand.
Okay. Not accusing Pastor Anderson of anything because I have no idea.
No, that is exactly what he should be doing because, yes, he does. He does know what Steven Anderson's up to. He said it earlier. He knows exactly what Steven Anderson did.
My personal opinion, my personal speculation as to understand these events is I think a lot of people are discouraged right now and they think I don't want this to happen to my kids. And
oh my God, dude, this is just disgusting shit, honestly.
first of all, he's never preached anything like this. I have never preached anything like this. And I think all of us need to take heed unto how we raise our kids and making sure that we're constantly affirming our love toward them and applying proper punishment, but also making sure that we're winning the hearts of our children, okay? Regardless of what you think about this situation. But I want to put forth a narrative. Now, here's the thing. I can corroborate the narrative that I just gave you by a lot of different things. Number one, John started dressing different and acting different years ago.
Okay, so this kid just dresses differently than he used to? I don't understand. So what?
John started having long hair and dressing in like short shorts and being very worldly years
Oh my God.
ago. There was a texting scandal that happened at Faithful Word in 2020, which I think was probably blown out of proportion, but it was still an issue that it came out.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't want to get into the texting thing right now, but the bottom line is it was some kids saying some things to be edgy. And it's like, it's kind of hard to blame them for being kids. Now, if they do that like today as adults, then I would definitely feel differently about it. But I'm just, I am giving them the benefit of the doubt because they were kids in that case.
And some fallout over that issue. Additionally, John has been in a physical altercation at Verity Baptist Church with another church member at a prior conference. Additionally, his daughter Miriam has dressed very strange.
Bullshit. He knows better. He is being a scumbag for the sake of it. This is disgusting shit, dude. Miriam has not stepped out of the bounds of whatever at all this entire time. She's been like perfectly in line with what she thinks the NIFB is supposed to be like or whatever. He is just slandering people now.
To say the least, for the last several years. So to say that there was this is just completely out of the blue, or that these kids' behavior is completely erratic and out of nowhere is not completely fair. And to say that there has been some concern or some issues that were noticeable.
This is destroying their reputation. As I said earlier, this is step one in abusing somebody. The very first thing you do after hitting them or after getting in an altercation is destroy their reputation so nobody will believe them. This is just wrong. Anyway, these people are just depraved. They are morally bankrupt, all of them. There are no morals to be found among these people, none.
And I think that it's very likely that that's the scenario. Now, because my friend Pastor Anderson is very sincere and very genuine, and I don't...
Oh, and now he's calling him his friend. Wow. I thought he verified for a fact that Steven Anderson definitely hurt his kids. What happened to that?
believe he's lied to me about anything, but he's been very careful on how he's worded stuff to me. I'm not going to abandon him as a friend. I'm not going to stop being his friend. I'm not
Oh my God, dude.
going to stop supporting him and his church. Pastor Anderson came here when Steadfast Baptist Church pastor was not maybe unqualified, 100% unqualified, and helped them and loved this church and preached for this church and did good in this church.
I'm not sure who was, I don't remember who the pastor was of Steadfast Baptist at the time, but I do remember when he did all of that stuff, like changed the pastors at Steadfast and all that.
So no matter what my opinion is of Pastor Anderson, no matter how he interprets how I feel, I'm willing to help them do something for that church. You know, anything I could do to help the situation. I don't want to abandon my friend, even if he's done something wrong. Okay.
But he's okay with abandoning Steven Anderson's children, who most definitely suffered at his hands. What is wrong with him? You know, I was writing a book recently, by the way. Check it out, owenmorgan.com. Anyway, this book is about World War II, and I get like 150 pages in, and I'm like, holy shit, man, how do people write 600 pages about one subject like this. This is so much writing, and now I know. They filibuster, like what he's doing right now. He has repeated himself like 16 times, hasn't he? Then you're an idiot, Shelley. If you take Anderson at his word with no second thought, you're an idiot. I get the impression that he doesn't take him at his word. I get the impression that Shelley knows full well that Anderson hurt his family. He knows that and is choosing to continue to be close to him.
And I don't think that we should. I don't think that we should just because someone did something wrong, just like hate on them, attack them, believe the words, not support the person. You know, just because someone makes a decision that we disagree with doesn't mean we can't support them.
This is just depraved shit, man. This guy is justifying disgusting behavior, disgusting shit right now.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And
This is what I'm talking about. Like, you don't have to prevent people from talking about things to be covering it up. You can, instead of prevent it from getting out, you can also choose to lie about it when the subject does come up. You can pretend that this isn't happening or this isn't as bad as it seems or any of that other shit. There's a ton of shit that you can do that I still consider covering it up. This guy seems to me clear as day. He's covering shit up, right? For Steven Anderson? Covering up his bad behavior?
even if Pastor Anderson decides just keep pastoring and just keep going with his church, I am not going to be preaching against him, attacking him, trying to do anything to subvert him. I'm going to support him where I can. I am planning on making a one-time public, probably post, not a video or anything like that, because I've already made the situation more dramatic in my opinion. I'm sorry if I made a mistake there. But I want to clarify my position one time, but I didn't feel like it was fair to you and other people to do that before I had a chance to talk to you guys. Okay? And because of the fact that we have, a lot of people that follow us online and things like that, some of my friends were concerned that if I said anything, that it could cause problems for their church. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to cause problems for some of our friends' churches. I've had conversations with Pastor Mejia, Pastor Thompson, Pastor Jimenez, other pastors, and the last thing I want to do is hurt or harm their church. Last thing I want to do is hurt and harm the NIFB. Last thing I want to do is hurt and harm y'all. But at the end of the day, my ultimate loyalty in this matter is y'all. And I want to make...
Is to God? Is that what he said? No, wait, is that what he said or y'all?
But at the end of the day, my ultimate loyalty in this matter is y'all.
No, I think it says God. I don't know why the subtitles are wrong here, but his ultimate authority is to God. Okay, well, what would God want, you think? Do you think God would want you covering up the terrible, horrific torture? Like, not abuse. That's not the right word. We're not using the right word. Torture. Think he'd want you to cover that shit up? That's what God would want?
And I want to make whatever decision is best for us. Period. And I will continue to do that.
Good.
I also want to say, unfortunately, even Isaac, going back to something I said earlier, Isaac has also made a lot of really bad, sinful shit decisions in the last several years of his
Bullshit.
life. And I'm not going to disclose those because, frankly speaking, I don't disclose people's sins. Okay?
Oh, yeah, 'cause that's convenient. You don't know exactly what he's done. And you're not going to tell anybody exactly what he's done. Just trust me when I say he's done something wrong.
People have told me stuff, and I know stuff about other people, and I'm not going to disclose that either.
Oh, so it's all rumors then, is what you're telling me.
But there's been a pattern of issue. And I was willing to believe and just continue to give the benefit out there. Just one bad kid or maybe two bad kids or something like that. Maybe this is an anomaly, and I'm not going to hold that against the pastor. But at this point, my position has changed. It's not a smoking gun to me because it's not like something like adultery or something like that I can just immediately point to. I think that there's a little bit of room for having different opinion. And I'm not going to fight any pastor for having a different opinion on this thing. And I'm not going to even say dogmatically that I'm right because I think there's gray. I'm just letting...
There's no gray here. He abused his family. There's no gray about this. He's monstrously evil, and he should be excised from the congregation completely. Pretty much everybody in the congregation, or many people at least, agree with that. I've noticed that the Pareto principle normally applies here, which is the 80-20 rule. 80% of the software bugs are reported by 20% of the population, the user base. 20% of the bugs are reported by 80% of the population. The 80-20 rule is what it's also called. And I think the Pareto principle applies here. About 20% of people are unhappy with what Steven Anderson is doing, is my guess. Again, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's just kind of a statistical trend that appears a lot of the time in various different things. In Germany, about 20% of the Protestant church was full-blown Nazi. About 10% were anti-Nazi. So I guess the Pareto principle kind of breaks there, but you get the point. I guess 20% were Nazis, 80% weren't Nazis. Put it that way.
You know where I stand. As far as a few other people that I want to address, and then I'll let you ask some questions if you want. I've also communicated with Pastor Matthew Stuckey because he's directly related and linked to our evangelist Duncan right now. And he does not have a different opinion on this issue.
Like, what is his opinion anyway? I think that I've sussed out that his opinion is Steven Anderson did some bad shit, and his kids are worldly, so it's excused since they're worldly. Am I reading this right? Wouldn't the congregation disband since he's the head of the church? I think just 20% of the people are going to leave, is the thing. The other 80% stay, and at this immediate moment, as far as I've seen, he's got a what do you call it? A substitute standing in for him. Right here. This is his guy. This is a substitute speaking for Steven Anderson at his church right now.
Bless Pastor Anderson as he's having a good time with his family and
good time with his family.
You know, he's taking a much-deserved day off, dear Lord, and obviously whatever
much deserved
day off, dear Lord, and obviously whatever we can do to make his life better, we ask you to reveal it to us so we can do it.
So yeah, that's the substitute at this immediate moment. And here's another one. This is an instance of the substitute making fun of Steven Anderson's kid and his weight.
And you guys aren't even going to church right now. You're staring at me right now.
He's talking to us.
So I'm just trying to help you out. You think you're hardcore, Isaac? Get up. 3:45 a.m. Read your Bible. Read your Bible. Buy yourself an elliptical. Get shredded because you're pretty chubby.
So see what I'm saying? Why? Why did he say that? Why did he bring that up at all? I don't understand what that had to do with anything at all. You hear the crowd chuckling in the background? Like, this is funny? Why are you doing this?
Just trying to help you out. I'm trying to get you ripped, rich, and religious, buddy. Because that's what you want. You want to be ripped? You look like baby Hercules from the Eddie Murphy movie. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
I've never seen that, and this is a weird and disturbing scene that he's giving us right now.
Google it. You'll see what I'm saying. Hercules, Hercules. That's who you are. But I know you want to be ripped. Hey, I want you to be rich, but rich towards God. And you're only going to get that by being right with God. Keep winning souls before you waste your life, your potential.
Okay, what does any of this have to do with Steven Anderson hitting his children, exactly? I'm not understanding. He's attacking Steven Anderson's son, the son that criticized Steven Anderson. So presumably, he's doing this because of what he said about Steven Anderson. What does any of this have to do with Steven Anderson's actions exactly? Am I the idiot here? That's possible. Anyway, complete scumbag. All of them. They're all complete scumbags. And you know what? Honestly, that includes his children. At least Isaac, I believe, is a scumbag. He believes in some scumbag things. He is a fascist, self-proclaimed, self-affirmed fascist. He likes fascism. He thinks fascism is a good thing. So yeah, not a great person at all. But we're not talking about Isaac. We're talking about Steven Anderson and his actions.
He's not going to do anything publicly that I am aware of. But he's telling his church, I don't know, they're like 12 hours different than us, but he was telling them in their Sunday morning service that he would leave Faith Word Baptist Church if he was attending here.
You know, this guy Jonathan Shelley, he seems to have learned something that a lot of people have to learn when they're in the public spotlight, and that is, don't say anything. Shut your mouth. Pretend it's not happening. If you talk about it, it's going to give it breath. Now your followers, your listeners are going to be aware of it, ones that weren't aware of it previously. So Jonathan Shelley, I guess, says he regrets posting that video, right? That makes complete sense. He probably shouldn't have posted that, whatever, or put that post up or whatever it was. I don't remember now. That ends badly. What Steven Anderson should do in this case, as as somebody who's affiliated with PR, who's done PR in the past, in my opinion, I believe Steven Anderson should have shut his mouth, said absolutely nothing about any of this stuff. Nothing. Waited for all of this to pass, maybe get a substitute in there for a while, as he did. And when everything just kind of passes, for the most part, come back, make one simple statement about it, one basic 30-second statement denying or apologizing or whatever, never address it again. Let what happens happen. That's what he should have done. But instead, he's got all of his weird little minions coming out and defending him and shit. That's not a good way of doing this. Just from a PR perspective, this is a bad idea.
But that he's not going to attack Pastor Anderson.
Yeah, like every time somebody talks about it, it increases the social awareness or whatever. It increases people's knowledge of the situation. People that wouldn't have known about it otherwise. He should just shut his mouth. Everybody should just shut their mouths and go about their day.
He's not going to go against him. He's had conversations with a lot of people. I communicated that with Brother Duncan, and nothing's changing between me and him or that situation or how we're supporting him. That's all going. I'm committed to him, period. So we're supporting him. He's doing great work in the Philippines. And we're still taking it one day at a time. We don't know what his future is going to be. We don't know if he's going to just keep doing evangelism over there.
So they have a church seated in the Philippines?
Maybe start a church someday, maybe take over a church, maybe come back to the States and do a church plant here. All of those are on the table, and they've always been on the table for him. Okay? But we're going to continue to support him.
Oh, you hear that baby crying? You know what you're supposed to do about that, right? Ask Steven Anderson. He knows. Ask his daughter. She knows what you're supposed to do to a kid who's being obnoxious, right? The old cold shower, the old waterboarding method.
Is regarding Tanner Furr. He is moving here Monday, and nothing's changing about that. And he's going to be coming on staff as a part-time employee to help us with administrative work, evangelism work.
Who is? I missed it.
And events. And I'm very excited for him coming down. I was supposed to go up to Oklahoma to celebrate with them moving and to check on things, and I did not want to cancel at all. But because our conference is coming up this week, and because I wasn't going to be here, and I want us to just be on the same page, so that we can just start moving forward. And that we don't punish any children with drama, and they don't get to have the best time they can have at this conference, okay?
I love it. So he's saying we don't want to punish any children, except for the ones that are revealing abuse. Those we can punish.
So that's why I decided to stay today. I am going to go there October 13th. So I just changed my plans. I'm going to go up there and check on things October 13th. As far as Brother Dylan, nothing has changed about him being the leader up there. He's still going strong, and God willing, if everything is going well and he's running that church smoothly up there, then we'll make plans to have him ordained at some point, and that'll become its own independent Baptist church. So there's nothing really changed in that situation. He is reading a public statement that I wrote and fielding some questions this morning to that church. Their statement is much briefer than what I just told you this morning, but it covers basically the same facts. I would ask, please, please, please do not say something publicly about my position right now, because at the end of the day, I'm trying my best to give our friends, like Pastor Roger Minnis, Pastor Bruce Mejia, Pastor Thompson, all of them, plenty of time to just talk with their churches today and what they're going to do. And the last thing I want to do is just cause more strife, more problems for other people.
Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, didn't really work out like he'd hoped, I guess, huh? Now it's all over the place.
I will at some point, probably next week, or probably this week, I guess, probably like Monday or Tuesday, make a one-time public statement just to clarify so that people can know what's going on. But I would just please ask you, please don't say anything before that. And it's not just for me, it's for our friends, for the God of Christ, it's for the situation. After I make my one-time statement, though, I'm going to make it clear, I'm not going to attack Pastor Anderson, go against him, fight him, and I will help him in any way that he will allow me to. I don't know that he will want to be my friend still necessarily, but
Oh, that's interesting. Why?
I will be his friend, period. Okay? If you disagree with me on that, you can disagree with me 100%. But I feel like abandoning him, even if he's made mistakes, is the wrong move, period. And even if
People saying yeah in the background.
he continues to pastor, I will still be his friend and support him where I can. So, you know, if you disagree with me, you can do that, and I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. I would ask, though, if you disagree with me, talk to me about it and tell me, and try not to just tell everybody else and tell the world or something like that. Now, obviously, if you don't want to be part of our church, you can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, like, I don't want people slandering each other in this church or slandering other pastors. Pastor Salvador Alvarez called me before he made a public.
Oh, Salvador Alvarez. Yes, this is the dude that was, oh my God, that separated himself from the church, if you will, whatever you call it. Like, oh my God, dude, this snake is like really hard. I remember it's been forever since I've played against him. Anyway, he's the one that officially like separated himself from the church, right? The NIFB, and that this guy went after, like, attacked, lied about, made all kinds of crazy claims, right? Yes. Okay.
Public statement and told me his position, and I did not fight him on that. I tried to be respectful. He is a pastor, albeit a very young and new pastor. While I can totally respect his position, he said a lot of things about the situation that I don't personally agree with. But again, I'm not going to fight him on that, and I'm still going to be his friend, and he's still going to be our friend.
Wow, dude, that's, when was this? This is 9/29. When did the other come out? So this came out September 29th, and then Alvarez's statement disassociating himself from the NIFB came out on October 11th, about 2 weeks later. And then Jonathan Shelley accused Salvador Alvarez of wildly inappropriate behavior, quote unquote, and then accused him of like fraud or something 6 days ago. So the 11th, like the day that Alvarez disassociated himself. Okay. Wow. That's actually really interesting. So I guess that ended, huh?
And he's still planning on coming to our conference. And I'm still going to treat him with respect, even if I think that he's made mistakes. I think that all of us, especially if you have young children, you should not be harsh to judge right now. And I think that we should all be careful to not just judge other people when we have not had.
Brother, we are not judging. We are determining if these people are hitting their family members. And, you know, Steven Anderson admitted to it. So, yeah. Whew, shit. I almost got messed up by that one.
Success in an area where we're criticizing other people. And I'm not saying that because you can't find fault. I'm not saying that you can't believe the Bible. I'm saying we should be very careful, myself included. And I've preached multiple times where I said, you know, raising teenagers, raising this stuff, some of this is my opinion. You take it for that, because I haven't successfully raised teenagers. Don't take everything that I say as gospel truth. Obviously, we should all believe the Bible, and I think it's a responsibility for me to preach the whole Bible, period. And I try to give my opinion where I feel like it's necessary, but sometimes it is my opinion. Everyone needs to always make whatever is the best decision for their family and serving Christ. My job as a pastor is to help all of you in this room to serve Christ better, no matter what that means. Even if it means not coming to my church. Because it's not about me, it's not about my church, it's about you and your family serving Christ the best that I can help you.
Right, totally. That's what it's all about. Absolutely.
And I am for you, and I am on your team in that regard. Okay? That does not mean I don't want people to come to my church. I love people coming to my church. I love seeing all of you. It makes me happy. I get really excited. I love your family.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Y'all are very special to me and my family. And I think that we have a special church. Obviously, I'm biased, but at the same time, even amongst all of our friends, I think that we have one of the healthiest and most gracious churches of our movement, and I don't want to see that change. If you weren't that way, I would tell you. And frankly, the people that were in Jacksonville, they can tell you that when I went to that church, I made it abundantly clear to them they were a carnal church. Because they were at the time that I visited them. Yeah. So I'm not just saying this to say, I'm saying we do have currently a very healthy church that's been growing, thriving. We've been breaking our church attendance records. We've been doing great soul winning. Why would we allow drama like that to stop us?
It's not drama. It's physical abuse.
Yeah. Why would we allow personal opinions and personal grievances and
It's not personal opinions or grievances. It's physical abuse.
And different ideas right now? Stop that. That is allowing the devil in. Having an opinion on Pastor Anderson is not letting the devil win. Okay? Attacking each other is letting the devil win.
Yeah.
Not being charitable is letting the devil win.
Amen.
Stop going to church is letting the devil win. Stop reading the Bible is letting the devil win. Stop loving your children is letting the devil win. Stop disciplining your children is letting the devil win. We need to make sure that we don't faint and we stay steadfast to our convictions, to the Bible, to what we know to be true. And no matter what happens, this church needs to serve Christ. If I do something bad, if I screwed up, whatever, I hope that this church continues to serve Christ with or without me. Because it's not about me. It never will be about me. And it's not about you, it's about us serving Christ. So we need to all make sure that we're making the best decisions for other people too. For our wives, for our children, for our brethren, and for the lost. And so we need to make sure that in this situation, we're not so concerned with our personal opinions getting out there, but rather having empathy and grace towards. Not so concerned with our personal opinions getting out there, but rather having empathy and grace towards other people. Now, I've said a lot. I have an abbreviated sermon. I don't even have to preach this morning. I'm willing to take the time to address concerns and issues because I think it's beneficial. If you disagree with me, I will not fight you, get mad at you, or treat you badly. But I would think it's healthier if you genuinely are upset and mad or really concerned about something I said, to address it now, as opposed to allowing that to create some bitterness or be unresolved. That doesn't mean we're going to agree necessarily, but I would rather at least have a chance to address something if you're genuinely concerned. So if any of the men have any questions, I'm willing to address whatever question you have.
If the men, oh, I love it, dude. If the men have any questions, then I will answer those questions for the men. That is fascinating.
Brother Marcel.
The reason why you're making the public statement is it to retract your previous video you made, or?
It's a lot of reasons. Number one, it's to clarify my position because I've made a public statement already. Secondly, it's for you guys because I think it's unfair for you to have to represent my view to the world. And whether I like it or not, everyone's going to ask. You have friends outside of this room. We have relationships outside of this room. People are going to ask what you think, what's going on. And then it's going to be you trying to just explain what I just said in your own words, and it won't come out the same.
So he asked why you don't want us to talk about it outside this room, right? Hold on.
Whatever question you have. Brother Marcel.
The reason why you're making the public statement is it to retract your previous video you made, or?
Oh, are you making a public statement to retract the previous video? I see.
It's a lot of reasons. Number one, it's to clarify my position because I've made a public statement already. Secondly, it's for you guys because I think it's unfair for you to have to represent my view to the world. And whether I like it or not, everyone's going to ask. You have friends outside of this room. We have relationships outside of this room. People are going to ask what you think, what's going on. and then it's going to be you trying to just explain what I just said in your own words, and it won't come out the same. It'll be interpreted completely differently. People are going to say wildly crazy things, and if I don't say anything, people are going to be like, what's going on? What does Pastor Shelley really think? What's really going on? To me, it makes more sense to one time verify my position so that you don't have to tell anybody what I believe, and then we can move forward.
Wow.
And then I can support Pastor Anderson where I feel like is right, and where and again, against what I believe are some very false accusations. And
They're not, though. He admitted that they're not false accusations. Jonathan Shelley admitted that it was real. Are you kidding me? Why does he keep playing this game? Why does he admit that Anderson was a piece of shit and then back off of that and say he wasn't really a piece of shit? These are all false accusations. What a piece of trash, man. Anyway, tell me what you think about this in the comments. This is wild, man. We may watch the rest of it.